Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have a very important video today. We're going to be talking about major news that's going on with XRP and Ripple. We're also going to be talking about some major news that's coming out with different reporting, and that is going to be very important towards the end of the video. So you don't want to miss anything basically in this video. And let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is going to be the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. This is now at 12. So we are in the extreme fear territory. We've been in this territory zone for several weeks now, and we're seeing it on the verge of going to single digits. We have had that happen previously, but it is dropping once again, very close to single digits. Not a good sign. And then when we look at Bitcoin, we're going to go ahead and zoom in here. On the day, we dropped below $60,000. At one point, it went down to about $58,000. It's seen a climb back up, $59,300. Likely we're going to see resistance at 60,000. And also if you look at the lower Bollinger Band, this green line right here, that is sitting at 60,300. So 60,000, 60,300, expect those to be some major levels of resistance. And then the next major zone would be that Fibonacci retracement zone at $63,200. If we zoom out a tad bit here, you can even see that we've essentially been consolidating right around this space, dipping down below, coming up, getting rejected, trying to retest it, breaking through barely. Okay, maybe things are good, starts to climb, and then we have 3 days of green followed by 3 days of red, and then just kind of following right along that line, right? So we're moving a lot sideways. People are wondering if this is going to drop even further down. Is 60,000 right around in that range the bottom? Or are we going to be seeing zones that go back to 50K, back down to $48,400, right? And if we zoom out, besides this date on June 5th, let's go ahead and zoom out more because we already dropped below the date on February 7th. We have to go all the way back here to October 10th of 2024, right? That's the last time that we were at this price level when we look back on a bigger scale, October 8th, 2024. You guys can see that back in that time period, there was a significant run that started to make an explosive move here at the end, well, actually about the middle of November of 2024, and then we saw that continuation. So let's go ahead and continue on with some other major news. Bitcoin broke the most important line in its history. 14 years of support gone. That trend line survived Mt. Gox, 2018, COVID, FTX, and guess what? That just failed. So not an ideal situation to see that fail. What happens next, we're not exactly sure, but there's always a first for basically everything, right? Hopefully this is an irregularity and we'll see it continue to follow the trend, but essentially it's starting to form a new bottom, and we'll look at how things continue to play there. So Ripple, they have posted officially on their Twitter account, we're proud to announce that Ripple USD, or RLUSD, is now officially available in Japan. I did talk about this a little bit yesterday. Following approval from the Japan Financial Services Agency, JFSA, through our partnership with SBI Group and SBI VC, official RLUSD will be accessible to both institutional and retail users via the VC Trade platform, serving as a bridge for payments, tokenization, and collateral management. With $1.7 billion in market cap and a 10-year relationship with SBI, this is a significant milestone in advancing regulated stablecoin adoption across Asia. And from Rippleziety, Japan's SBI VC Trade just confirmed support for RLUSD issued on the XRP ledger. So it's nice seeing this being elaborated on outside of just Ripple's Twitter account. And also 2 stablecoins first in Japan, same day. You have RLUSD, Japan's first regulated foreign stablecoin, Ripple, right? And then you have JPYSC, Japan's first yen stablecoin. That's SBI Shinsei. The SBI and Ripple alliance just opened the floodgates. I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. The XRP ledger has overtaken Ethereum as the largest host of RLUSD supply for the first time, with $801 million on XRPL versus $795 million on Ethereum. And from Smoke, reminder, this is why RLUSD is being issued on both the Ethereum side as well as XRPL. It's a part of Ripple's broader strategy to bring liquidity to the XRPL. So look at the big picture. Maximizing liquidity for XRP is the goal. XRP Ledger has now more RLUSD on chain than Ethereum. SBI VC Trade is integrating RLUSD on XRP. People get upset when they see the Ethereum integration and not XRP Ledger right from the get-go. So let them explain, this is from Vet, what they are missing while we travel east. Number one, RLUSD has been a very strong door opener for the XRP Ledger. Many institutions and exchanges want RLUSD, and because it's also natively issued and large on XRPL, they also integrate the XRP Ledger infrastructure. See, for example, Binance and other players. Number two, this also means other issued assets on XRP have it easier to be integrated with those platforms and institutions. You need to know that Ethereum and especially ERC20 tokens are very well integrated historically, even during the past SEC administration. So when you see programs start with Ethereum, it is because most likely the XRP Ledger integration is in the works. Things just take time, and large organizations move very slow. Have absolutely zero doubt that every stakeholder on the XRP Ledger wants the best for this chain. And SBI Group is acquiring Japan's third largest crypto exchange, BitBank, for $289 million. Combined assets under custody will hit $6.2 billion, making it the largest crypto group in Japan. SBI already runs one of the biggest XRP holdings outside the US. This just got bigger. Unnoticed compounding events for potential flipping. You have RLUSD on the XRP Ledger is close to overtaking RLUSD on Ethereum. That was actually earlier. And the demand is very stable, while a lot of customer redemptions happen on Ethereum or burn. And RLUSD is positioned to absorb $17.5 billion stablecoin liquidity shift in Europe. UK Parliament just submitted a proposal to use the XRP Ledger for climate contingent convertible notes. And if XRP is the answer, why won't they just say XRP? Because that's not how financial infrastructure gets built. This coming from son of a Richard. Think about what happens if tomorrow the SEC, Treasury, Federal Reserve, OCC, BIS, or IMF publicly names a winner. Immediately, lobbyists show up. Competitors object, lawsuits begin, politicians get involved, markets go vertical, every headline is price. Suddenly, nobody is talking about the actual problem. Settlement. The existing financial system was built for banking hours, paper records, correspondent banks, and batch processing. The world changed. The plumbing didn't. Now look around. The SEC is talking about digital assets. The CFTC is talking about commodities. The OCC is burning old policies and opening new doors. The Treasury is modernizing. The DTCC is rebuilding settlement infrastructure. 24 times 5, then 24 times 7. Stablecoin legislation is moving. Tokenization is accelerating. Everyone is moving, not necessarily together, but toward the same horizon. That's what I find most fascinating, because none of them are naming a chain. They're naming requirements. Liquidity, settlement finality, compliance, collateral, mobility, interoperability, 24/7 markets, auditability, risk management. They're describing the future system must. Not who wins. Think about going to watch the Dodgers play the Cubs. The players are the attraction, but the game doesn't happen without the stadium, the lights, the security, the gates, the ticketing system, the concessions, the scoreboard operators, the medical staff, and the grounds crew. Nobody buys the ticket to see the plumbing until the plumbing stops working. That's why they've become increasingly interested in XRP, XRPL, RLUSD, tokenized treasuries, custody infrastructure, and the institutions building around them. Not because someone crowned a winner, because more and more the requirements being written into guidance and law appear to resemble the capabilities already sitting on the shelf. The market wants to know which asset wins. Infrastructure asks a different question. What still works at 3 a.m. on Christmas morning when $500 billion needs to move? One creates headlines. The other builds financial systems where money is trusted and possesses collateral mobility. Now, some very big, important reporting on, well, the latest reports. Let's go ahead and go into it. U.S. first quarter GDP final estimate came in at 2.1%. The expectations were 1.6%. This suggests the U.S. economy's growth is accelerating. Core PCE came in at 0.3%. The expectations were 0.3%. U.S. PCE data, year over year, actual was 4.1%, expected 4.1%. Core PCE, 3.4% was the actual, and the expected was 3.4%. Okay, so bull theory breaks this down right here. U.S. inflation just came in at a 3-year high, and the Fed has almost no room left to cut rates. The PCE price index, the Fed's main inflation gauge, rose 4.1% year over year in May, up from 3.8% the month before. That's the wrong direction and still more than double the Fed's 2% target. At the same time, the economy is not slowing down. First quarter GDP grew 2.1%, well above the 1.6% forecast. The labor market backs this up. Initial jobless claims came in at 215,000, better than the 225,000 expected, meaning companies are still not cutting workers in large numbers. Consumers are spending too. Personal spending rose 0.7% in May, above the 0.6% forecast. Core durable goods orders, which strip out volatile transport numbers, rose 1.3%. There's one weak spot. Headline durable goods orders fell 4.5% in May, a sharp reversal from an 8.5% gain the month before. Since the core number stayed positive, this looks more like a 1-month swing than a trend. Put it together and you get strong growth, strong spending, a tight job market, and inflation still rising. That combination gives the Fed almost no justification to cut rates anytime soon. This data lands right as Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chair, has already signaled he is open to more rate hikes instead of cuts. Numbers like these only strengthen that case heading into the next FOMC meeting. And now, we also take a look right here. XRP's price movement, we are seeing it down on the day, 2.84%. At one point, it did drop down to $1.01. It is pulling back a little bit, climbing back up, I should say. It is pushing closer to $1.05 right now. And we're also looking at that bottom Bollinger Band that's at 106. It is below the daily VWAP. Ideally, I like looking at the VWAP on a more macro time frame. And we have $1.14 as the median line. Like Bitcoin, we're seeing that constriction taking place with the Bollinger Band. And if it can manage to break above $1.14, I'd be looking at $1.22. Got to try and break above $1.29. We saw that really take place right there, getting rejected on June 15th. And then a run up here to $1.40. So it's got a long way to go before it can get back to the previous all-time highs. And with where it is right now, let's go and zoom out. We've got to go back to that weird day, October 10th, 2025, to see the previous price levels. But even more, look at this. We got to go all the way back here to the end of November 2024. And again, back then, like Bitcoin, you saw a significant run-up starting to take place. So hopefully, we're seeing it at price levels where it's going to try and make a little bit of a bounce here. If it decides it wants to go back all the way to levels it used to be, we'd be looking around like 55, 56 cents. And that was back in November, the very beginning of November 2024. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.